Hey everyone, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about whether everyone should be counting macros and calories or whether there's a better way to do it for certain people. All right, so with respect to diet coaching nowadays, there's a lot of people out there, or at least in my world, it's kind of seems skewed that everybody wants to count macros, everybody wants to count calories, because that's been found to be a very effective strategy for a lot of people in the bodybuilding world. A lot of people are counting macros, even if they're eating clean still, they're at least keeping track of protein and calories and carbs when it comes down to deep into contest prep and things like that. And so I get a lot of people who ask me, or whether it be family members, whether it be potential clients, whether it be just friends, who ask me, should I be counting calories? Should I be counting my macros? Is that the way to have a well-rounded diet? And what I always tell them is it kind of just depends. It depends a lot on your goals. It depends a lot on your personal, factors, what's going on in your life right now. But ultimately, counting calories or counting your macros isn't necessarily a prerequisite for success when it comes to your diet. And so, what I mean by that is you can have success eating a healthy diet, losing weight, performing well, even if you don't count your calories or even if you don't count your macros. Um, what counting your macros or counting your calories does for you is it gives you sort of a higher level of precision and a higher level of control over what you're eating day to day. And perhaps allows you for a little bit more freedom in certain ways as far as what you are eating day to day. In some ways, it's a little bit more restricting as well. Obviously, you need to get good at either estimating your portion sizes and putting those into a calorie counter, or if you're able to keep track of those in your head, then more power to you, but that's a little bit difficult. Whatever you're doing, you're either writing them down in a food journal, you're putting them on MyFitnessPal or some other food journal, or whatever the case may be, that's a little bit restricting to some people, and so is the process of getting good at that, which usually requires weighing your food, looking up nutrition facts, things like that. And so some people don't like that because they want to be able to just not think about it, just sit down and eat a meal, go out to eat with friends, not worry about it, just eat whatever they order, and not have to worry about it beyond that. So for those people, counting macros, counting calories, probably just not worth it, and probably counterproductive, as a matter of fact, for that person, because they're just going to get too stressed out about counting and figuring out what the macros are for a meal that they're eating. The ways that does help you have more freedom is that you might start a diet thinking I can only eat these specific foods. I can't go out to eat. I can't enjoy the holiday foods. Holidays are coming up. Everybody's going to want to enjoy those. With flexible dieting or with counting macros, the combination of those two, counting calories, is you'll be able to fit in foods that you like without compromising your diet, so to speak. Because you'll have that higher level of precision, that higher level of control over, okay, I ate a cookie or I ate a couple of Christmas cookies. That means that my lunch or my dinner is going to have to be a little bit lighter, maybe more veggies, less carbs, a little bit less fat. Let me just adjust my day's intake to account for those cookies that I did eat. So in that way, it does help you have a little bit more freedom. Now, when I get a new client who maybe isn't tracking macros or calories at the moment, and I want to figure out whether it's right for them, I kind of have a little bit of a checklist that I go through. So, what are their goals? If their goal is just to eat healthy, eat for longevity, have a well-rounded diet, just be healthy and happy, I don't necessarily go straight into suggesting macro or calorie counting. The reason for that is a lot of times, if they don't have any specific body composition goals or any specific, things on that front, then counting calories, like I said earlier, is maybe a little bit too stressful. Maybe they just need better habits as far as portion control, as far as recognizing calorie dense versus non-calorie dense foods, having a more well-rounded diet, more fruits and vegetables, more lean meats, more things like that. Maybe that's sort of the route I go through depending on what health concerns or whatever it is that they're working with. So for that kind of person, maybe counting macros is not really advantageous. Now, for somebody who has a body composition goal, counting macros may or may not be effective. If they struggle with losing weight because they think that they're eating healthy, and no matter what they do, they can't lose weight, well, then counting calories or counting macros might be a good way for them to get a better idea of how much they're really eating, and then being able to decrease the amount they're eating over time in order to lose weight. And so, in that sense, counting calories or counting macros is a good implementation because it's giving them higher awareness, which is going to give them higher precision, which is going to lead, hopefully, to the end result that they want. However, if somebody comes to me and they're like, I don't want to count macros, I don't want to count calories, what can I do to lose weight and get better body composition? Well, there's a few things that I can tell them to do, and I'll get into those in a second. But the third thing that usually people come to me for is performance related things. So they want to perform better on the field, or perform better in the gym, or something like that. If that's more your speed, if that's more your goal is just performance, counting may or may not be advantageous. And I would say more often than not, it's not advantageous. And the reason is that an athlete or somebody that's trying to perform at a high level isn't going to be as concerned with body composition or fluctuations in their weight throughout, say, a season or throughout, a competition cycle. Because they can afford to maybe sway 10 pounds, and sort of their sport is going to naturally cause them to lose or gain those 10 pounds. During a season, usually athletes are so active that they almost can't even eat enough calories to put on weight. They'll end up losing weight, and so they'll end up a little bit leaner as a result of it. So for that kind of person, I would be more looking to establish good habits and awareness around food, making sure they're getting enough protein, making sure they're getting enough carbohydrates for the sport that they're performing, and then obviously making sure that their food profile is well rounded enough to shore up any micronutrient deficiencies and things like that. Now, if that same performance person is coming to me because they're 20 pounds overweight and they're having a hard time shedding that weight with the habits that they have now, we're going to look at maybe counting calories, maybe just implementing better strategies as far as portion control and things like that. But there may be some sort of calorie counting or macronutrient counting at that point. So if you are having a crisis of whether you should be counting calories or macros, first thing you should think about is whether you're making progress currently without counting macros or calories. If you're trying to lose weight and you're losing weight currently, there may be no need to start counting calories. I would say that if you're having success without it, why introduce another variable that's going to stress you out potentially? Maybe if you come to a point where weight loss plateaus, then you can take a look at objectively how many calories you're eating, and then that'll give you a sense of what you need to do from there. And especially when it comes to like health and all that kind of stuff, like, my wife, as an example, is somebody who's never counted her calories, never had to count her calories. She's, that kind of annoying person who can eat whatever she wants and always is healthy and always is maintaining a pretty good body weight. For her, I would never tell her to start counting calories or macros because there's really no point. Now, if she started wanting to compete in physique competitions or compete in some sort of, or maybe just improve body composition, and she was having a hard time gaining weight or a hard time putting on muscle, I might have her track her food to make sure she's getting enough protein and then just instill that awareness around her. But for those kinds of people, no need to be introducing calorie counting or macro counting because it's just something that's kind of unnecessary at that point. Now, if you aren't going to count macros or calories, how can you have success? What can you do to sort of substitute for that? That's going to have less precision, but maybe be just as effective. Obviously, portion control. So, what is counting calories really just doing for you is just giving you a higher level control over your portions. You're able to decide how much of each food you're going to eat at this meal so that this meal turns out to be this many calories so that it fits into your day with the amount of calories that you have to eat each day. You can do that without counting. It just, you're just going to have to be cognizant of your portions. If you're trying to lose weight, you decrease your portion size. If you're trying to gain weight, you increase your portion sizes. You keep weighing yourself. If you're losing weight too fast, eat a little bit more. If you're gaining weight too fast, eat a little bit less. Pretty easy, and there's a lot of people out there who can have success doing just that. Another way to do that is just through eating more calorie dense foods or less calorie dense foods. If you're trying to lose some weight, you're going to move from, say, a whole bowl of white rice to half a bowl of white rice with some cauliflower rice or just some extra veggies instead of the starchy carbs. You're going to go from fattier cuts of steak like ribeyes to a leaner cut of steak like a filet or a sirloin. You're going to go from chicken thighs or chicken legs to chicken breast. You're going to make these little changes that are going to decrease your calories as a result of eating less calorie dense foods, and that should result in weight loss. And then the opposite is true if you're trying to gain weight. You're going to go to more calorie dense foods in order to help you gain weight. And then the final thing you could do would be to just follow your hunger signals. Like, this is especially true with people who are just trying to maintain weight or just have a healthy, well-rounded diet and eat for longevity. Just follow hunger signals. If you're kind of hungry, unless you've had a history of being overweight or obese or a long history of dieting, your hunger signals are going to dictate pretty well whether you're hungry or not, whether you truly need calories or not. And so if you're hungry, you're going to eat. You're going to eat until you're satisfied. You're not going to stuff yourself. If you're not hungry, no need to eat. Unless you're the kind of person that, just doesn't eat a lot because they're never hungry, then you might have to force yourself. But follow your hunger signals and it'll be pretty good for you. All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Hopefully it's helpful for some of you that may be considering counting calories or considering whether counting calories is a waste of your time. If you like the video, please subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Instagram at The Strength Cave, leave a comment below with any thoughts or concerns, and I'll see you guys next time.